listening to the podcast To Be Single or Not to Be by Shanna Montana, a podcast where we talk about the single life, dating, and relationships so you can make a decision at the end of each episode and decide to be single or not to be. That is the final question.
Today's topic is just throw the whole timeline away. And I wanted to revisit this topic because in season 1, we talked a lot about following a specific timeline or having a certain roadmap to some extent, to find your way to love. And at this age and stage in my life, I just don't think I can agree with that 100% anymore, because I think it's essential that we, especially women, find what works best for us, even if it doesn't look like the traditional route that quote unquote society has told us is okay. So to join me in this conversation today, we have 2 amazing guests who have been on the show before, and I'm so excited to have back. So up first, we have Miss Kari from the podcast Conversing with Kariscene. Tell us, how has 2020 been treating you?
Hello, everybody. 2020 has been, a roller coaster of a year. But I would say that for the most part, I really can't complain.
Good.
It's been pretty good as far as, I've been able to maintain stability with my job, which is a blessing. I haven't gotten sick, which is a blessing.
Yes.
And though I've had some friends and loved ones to contract the coronavirus, for the most part, everything has been on the up and up.
Good.
So,
I am here. It's the blessings for me.
Yes.
I love it. And yes, we are back with our fave therapist, Positively Meek. How are you doing today?
Everybody. Man, so I told y'all last time how my 2020 was going. I've been dodging these hits left and right. But as far as today goes, man, it's like Carrie was saying, just blessed to be here. It's a new day, and that's the mindset I'm carrying it with. Like, I'm ready for whatever. It's whatever.
Onward and upward. I love it. Come on, T.I. Ready for whatever. I'm here for it. So we're going to get ready for this episode and get right to it. So y'all know the drill. I want to get right to it. And I like starting the show with clarity sometimes. I like to ensure the listeners are clear about what we are talking about. So since we're talking about throwing a whole timeline away, I want to ask that one of you guys tell us, what is your definition of a relationship timeline? Don't all go at once.
I was like, Carrie, if you don't want to take it, I'll take it.
I'll go. I think that, for a relationship timeline, for the most part, kind of starts out with, what I guess somebody would say the talking phase, where somebody is showing that they're interested in you, whether that's, they've approached you somewhere out in public, or at this point they've slid in some DMs or whatever may be. They've initiated some contact, and then you guys talk, get to know each other, go out on a date or 2 or 3 or however many dates until you decide that that's somebody that you want to, focus on exclusively, as opposed to continue dating them while you're still entertaining and going out on dates with other people.
Ooh, okay.
Then you go into a committed relationship, and if things are going well within that committed relationship, that's where, things start branching off. So for some people, that looks like going into an engagement and marriage.
Okay.
For some people, that looks like a forever boyfriend and girlfriend.
Unfortunately.
And right.
For some.
And then for some people, that looks like he or she is in a relationship, but the other person is single.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother topic that we're not going to hit on today. But I feel like if I didn't say it, I wouldn't be being authentic. So.
Yes, and it had to. And no. We will touch on some of that to some extent, But I'm glad you broke it down that way. I really love that, because I think it's very necessary for you to break it down that way, because we're really going to talk a lot about today what that looks like in a sense of what kind of time is attached to it. And does it have to go in that order? And does the outcome have to be marriage? or does the outcome is it going to be a situation forever? You know, and the caveats that come along with that. So I love the way that you broke it down. And that leads me to ask you also now, when it comes to timelines in relationships personally, and I'll start with you, Mika.
Okay.
Are you more of a traditional girl who follows the rules, or are you a person that some would say follows their heart or just follows the moment? And how has that worked out for you?
So I think starting out the gate, I was more of a traditional girl, but also that's because of the age I was at too, I do believe. Like, you know, first love type situation. Like, we talk about so traditional, like, before we can go out, like, you got to come meet my parents, which adds a whole nother level of like, oh, dang, this relationship serious because you met my folks. Not because I decided for you to, but it was necessary for us to go on this date. And I think now I have grown to be a person that's like, I'm going to do what feels good for me. Not saying that I've thrown out some of I think in so many ways, my moral code and also my upbringing are reflected in my dating timeline, but also the sense of I've faced a lot of societal pressures. I've worked through a lot of like guilt and shame, so to speak. And also through this people pleasing phase that I went through that was super heavy and brought up a whole lot of like things where it's like, bro, you can't be victim. You was just naive, and not like you being naive turned to you being made a fool, and being made a fool just made you look stupid. Like, you know, like we I think it's safe to say we all have went through those phases. So
absolutely,
I went through that, and after, you know, I talked to y'all about loving yourself. I went on this whole journey, still in therapy. I think the new piece that a lot of people don't know, like, you know, grief therapist, sex therapist. Not saying you had to have multiple therapists, but I realized there was like some areas like, oh, I got to dive deeper into like these pieces of me. Because I want to show up whole in a relationship, or I want to be a better person in this friendship, so that maybe it can grow into a relationship. And being honest with myself, like I can't expect something out of somebody else that I can't give myself. So for me, that all of that is played into my timeline now, because there's a piece of my timeline that wasn't there before that strictly focuses on like, have we healed from childhood wounds? And if not, like, does that impact where we going next?
Absolutely, it does. And so many people don't realize that. And I think that so much of what you just said can resonate with so many people, because I think the work that you've put in with yourself is essential for people to have healthy and happy relationships in this day and age. And I think that's why we have, to some extent, moved away from the traditional type of relationships, because guess what? It's more important to me that I'm happy and whole and I'm healed enough in this relationship than it is for you to meet my parents. Like, that takes a back seat. Like, I don't give a damn how my mama feel about you if I don't feel good about you, or I don't feel good about myself. So I think that ultimately the work that you are putting in, I think and this is something that will come up a lot throughout the season. I think a lot of times in relationships, whatever the timeline is, I think many times the reason relationships don't work is because we are not matched with the right person. And we're not matched with the right person because, one, sometimes it's a situation where neither one of us really knows who the hell we are. But other times it's where one person is doing the work, like yourself, to heal and get to a place in a space where you can receive the love that you deserve, and then you receive the love that you deserve from a person that does not have the capacity to give it to you because they are not in a space where they love themselves. So I think that, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, and I want to say something that we talk a lot about trauma bonding in terms of people going through trauma together. We don't talk about, for some relationships, the reason a relationship formed was because of trauma bond. You guys, the way you connected was the fact that you found joy or comfort, or even you could laugh through some of the shared pain. No, we didn't go through that together, but your childhood looks similar to my childhood, so we get each other.
Or your last breakup looks similar to mine.
Yep. So
the way your last partner treated you looks similar to how mine treated me. So we bond off of that.
That whole, like, if they were crap to me and you understand that because somebody was crap to you, then you definitely ain't gonna be crap to me. When it's like, we both got to figure this out, because what could happen is we both doing petty stuff to each other, not realizing it based off of what happened to us.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what do you think about that, Carrie? You know, have you been more of a traditional person that follows the rules, or have you kind of just followed your heart or the moment?
I think that I'm kind of in line with what Mika said, which was absolutely beautiful. Minus the level of work that she's putting in. You know, I admire that. And I probably need to do some of that. I've had, counseling therapy here and there, but never on like a consistent basis to really work through any given, circumstance. It's more so been kind of like an as needed thing. Like I used to do Reiki. And so that was helpful for me. But I think that to answer your question, it kind of started out for me more of a traditional type thing where it was like, okay, we're going to have to talk a little bit before I go anywhere with you because I don't know you and you a stranger.
Right.
And I don't really do strangers like that. And then, us kind of getting to know each other better and seeing where that goes. And I think with age, that's kind of become something that instead of a timeline, like, okay, we've had to talk at least a week before I meet up with him or blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Now it's more of like a feeling thing. Like if I've been conversing with you for a while and that wow could really be like a day. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling him and he wants to see me tomorrow. Now, what you're not going to do is impose on my day.
Right.
Be like, okay, well, let's meet up now. Let's link or whatever. Like, well, no, pump your brakes.
Right.
But if it's tomorrow, then sure, I can make that happen. If I'm enjoying spending time around you, then I'm not going to limit myself and be like, oh, well, no, I got to cut this off right now and make sure that it's 2 more dates before I see him again because I want to make sure that I'm balancing my availability with my unavailability to leave a little mystery, and all that.
And playing games.
Yeah. Because while to a certain extent, I think that it's still kind of necessary to play games a little bit, just in the way where you want to maintain a sense of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Just because it's so hard, even at this age, to know the sincerity that's coming from people. You know what I'm saying? Because so many people are willing to do whatever it takes on the front end to meet whatever goal that they met. And so somebody can be, really putting in work, really taking you out on dates, whatever it may be, and then still turn around and ghost you.
Yeah.
So
people will act the fool. You're right.
That's a whole ministry.
So you can't just say, okay, if I do this step, that step, and that step, then this guarantees that he's going to at least be somebody who's somewhat serious, and then I can focus on him. Like, you kind of have to come to your own balance with different people's personalities because different people obviously have different ways of going about things. But I think by still kind of maintaining some of your structure, you can weed out those who are absolutely not serious.
Yeah, the ones that the losers that are playing games.
All that.
Yeah, and I think that's
they
essential.
Don't be like, man, nah, she required too much.
Yeah, if I gotta put a little bit more energy in what I'm used to. Yeah, if they just trying to hit it, then they're not trying to put no real energy into it. They think they take you out to an Applebee's 2 for $20 and they about to get the draws. And it's like, this is not happening. It's the Applebee's for me. What is going on? So
Mr. Casanova, who will actually put in all that time to just hit it and then go.
Oh yeah,
like I mean, he's showing up with the flowers, the music, the talking, like
singing like Johnny Gill.
I'm gonna be patient with you. I'm not gonna rush you. But then the minute I get you comfortable, it's too much.
That's the narcissist.
So now I gotta
that's the narcissist guy, because you have to be a narcissist that you want to woo somebody that much, put that energy into them just so that you can have sex with them, or just so you can, get whatever it is that you need, and then you want to dip. That's a whole nother episode we will be talking about again. You have to be very mindful of those people because they are also sociopaths, in my opinion. I would have you tap in for that. But I think also what you said tap in. It's so essential what you talked about as far as I could really be feeling you, and it could be for a day. And then if I feel like you want to see me the next day, it's okay, because so many times we do play these games where it's like, should I call him first? Should I text him first? Should I let him see me? If the vibe is there, the energy is right, you feel like you're dealing with a genuine person, I always say, give a person the benefit of your doubt or give them a chance until they give you a reason not to. Now, mind you, we're going to talk a little bit later about not being stupid, okay? Listeners, be clear. We don't want you to be a dummy out here. But I don't think that you should feel like, well, we haven't been talking on the phone for a week, so you can't see me. Like that kind of timeline, that stuff is silly. Or, I can't take you home to meet my friends, not even family, like friends, until we're in a relationship. Whereas you may want him to meet your friends before you get in a relationship so they can kind of maybe see some things that you don't see. Like, sis, this may not be the one, or it may be the one. Like, so we have to look at things in a non-traditional route because the world is not as traditional as it used to be. So the points that you all made, no, what were you saying?
Oh, I just said amen, girl. I was agreeing.
The points that you all made.
That and I was going to say age definitely plays a factor too. Yeah. And I think it's cool because all of us on this call are like, it's not that we're grown. Have big age gaps, but we're grown and we're in different phases of our life. Right. So we know as we move into different phases of our life, we move differently, which means the timeline gets adjusted too, because where before I may not have had time for something, I may not have time for it. Or before maybe where I gave something time, it's like, we just gonna bypass that altogether.
Yeah. And it's okay. And it's not even like, it's not about even ghosting too, now that you say that. Sometimes you may realize like, we were vibing on the phone. I met up with you one time and it's like, this ain't it. So I'm just gonna let you know, bro, this ain't it. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. I wish you well in 2021. I'm moving right along. So I want to ask this. We know that, men, we see it so many times, whether it be in the entertaining business or real life, upfront, close and personal. We know that men will get with a woman, 5-10 years and never marry her. Then he'll get with a woman for 5 minutes and all of a sudden wife her up. So men don't stick to the traditional style of dating all the time. So why is it that we as women are always following this traditional style of dating, following this timeline? But clearly men are not. What factors are out there influencing our decisions where we are moving in this one way, almost like we are settled. We will settle when a nigga be like, if I don't like her no more, I'm gone. So what do you all think about that?
I mean,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, if we can be honest, I know we talking about what factors society play, but for a lot of that, it's not what factors society play. I'm gonna speak for me. Growing up in a traditional, Southern Baptist household, religion played a lot of that. Like, how does the Bible say you're supposed to start a relationship? The man should find the wife and find a good thing. So in a lot of ways, as a woman, you kind of, I don't want to say stuck, but you kind of stuck. Like, you find somebody you like, you hope they like you too. And then you do what when you're, I guess, until you learn the factor of doing you or doing what Ruth did meant building you, not building you for him. It's kind of like that game of like, I look shiny and I'm going to continue to try to make myself look shiny. So you stay with me or you pick me in terms of we going to carry this out to
when
marriage.
The pick me gets picked.
Yes. And then as we get older, for some women, that really becomes a problem because it's like everything gets tied. Like some of them even lose hope sometimes in their religious views because it's like, Lord, what's happening? Like you keep bringing me men that I think, are the one because they actually choosing me or so I think. And then we end and then they marry the next one. Like, what am I doing? Preparing them for their life? Like, that ain't what I signed up for.
Right.
Like, this woman on Twitter is so funny. She said, I helped men find their forever home.
Hold on, what now? She said what?
It was funny. She said, I just helped men find their forever home.
That's so unfortunate. Like, so unfortunate.
What?
But I think what you're saying is so.
Some women feel that.
I think it's so true in regards to, women, we can sometimes hold tight to religion and think that we have to wait and do things in this certain order. Whereas a man may be religious, but he'll still throw that part out the window. So what would you say, Carrie, is influencing this decision outside of that?
I would say that that's definitely a factor. And, I'm with you on the fact that I grew up like that as well. And my parents have been together like 43 years now. And so I'm looking to them to a certain extent, as a pattern, but realizing that this generation of men don't operate like the men in my parents' generation did. And so, that has to be adjusted. But I think the big part of that, especially with age, is the fact that men kind of get to do the ultimate choosing. Like, unless you're going to be, what was her name? Christy with Jim
Christy,
Jones. Chrissy, who done proposed and did all this stuff, and that man still ain't
Right,
married her.
right.
So, and they're in a relationship still, as far
Yeah,
as I know.
they
The
are.
last time I think they popped up on my social media or something. They're still in a relationship, but for whatever reason, he has not
Yeah.
married her. And I mean, she did this grand proposal,
A
made
fool of
what
herself.
I feel like is a fool of
Yes.
herself. And yet he was like,
I'm good.
no, I'm straight on that, but you can
Right.
stay my girlfriend. And so it's just kind
The
of
ultimate
like,
slap in the
if,
face.
right. And if you're the type of woman who's willing to be a
Mm.
sitting duck for a man, hoping that one day he'll come around and give you that ultimate commitment of marriage, then
And
that's
Carrie, let me
that.
say this. I feel
But
like you've been in my house listening to conversations I've been having because I literally, the words you use, I use them verbatim with a person, I would say in 2020, I'll put it that way. And was in a situation where this person, we were not on the same page. And they told me that we were going to take things one day at a time. And I said, so basically what you want me to do is be a sitting duck and hope that one day you will wake up and magically decide that you want to be with me when I know that I'm the catch, I'm the prize. So guess what? I'm going to make an executive decision to exit stage left because I will never be in a position where I am sitting here waiting and hoping that someone wants to be with me. Like I'm not valuable enough to be chosen as the first option. So I think that that is so essential because men do get to do the choosing. But as women, we have to recognize that we have a choice in how the role that we play in that. Are you going to be the, you know, the Chrissy with the Jim Jones, which I, like you said, made a fool of herself? They're still together, cool. But girl, if you asked that man to marry you, you really did want to get married. And now that you're not, I think because I've read things recently where she said allegedly that she's not so worried about marriage anymore. I bet you not, because your nigga not. So you can't be worried about it if you're going to choose to stay with him. But on the flip side of that, I think ultimately as women, we have to understand that we have a say so in the matter. And yeah, you might, that person that you sitting there hoping, praying, wishing is going to choose you, it may not be your person, like I said earlier. Because if you have to go through all that, I don't think it should be that hard. When it comes to the person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, I promise you me, I do not want to be the second option. I don't want it to be something he losing sleep over. I don't want to be the one that he hope it work out with. I need for you to know 1000% that I am it. And that leads me right into, you know, another factor I think influences these decisions as far as like men, you know, being very non-traditional and women being traditional is women, I think we tend to look at it like we're a hoe if we go from man to man. You know, if a woman is with a man, if I'm with a man today and then y'all find out like next week I got a new man, oh, I'm getting talked about real crazy. Oh, Shayna Abapa, she out here, she going. She doing this and that. But a man, we see it every day. They can have a new chick every week. And all we concerned about is, you know, no, they look good together. They look cute together. Nobody said anything about him being promiscuous, but let us do it. You know, so what do y'all think about that? I think that we care so much about what society thinks in regards to how we will be viewed, that we'll be viewed as a whole or promiscuous or whatever, that stops us sometimes from, you know, moving along from one. Not saying you got to jump from one guy to the next, but if you get out of a relationship and a month later you meet somebody else that feels good, I feel like you go have fun, enjoy it, see what it turns into. Don't stop yourself because you think society may look at you crazy. So what do y'all think about that?
Yeah. I think that in those situations, especially if, you know, we got to take into consideration that we're no longer on a college campus somewhere where you're running into men by the dozens every single day. Like the closest you get to that now
is work
outside of your workplace, and especially with us being in a pandemic, is going to be on social media or a dating app, basically. And so in both of those situations, you've got a plethora of men who are at your disposal. And they're hopping in DMs, or if you're on a dating app, you know, they're matching with you, et cetera, et cetera. So you're meeting multiple people all the time. Now, if you want to go out on a date with that person, and just because you're dating or being seen with somebody doesn't mean that you're sleeping with them.
Come on now.
I think that that's part of the thing that people need to take into consideration. But two, somebody like me, I ain't even gonna let you know until I know how I feel that he exists. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not trying to be embarrassed. And I think by this age, we've seen people who even marry somebody and then like 6 months, maybe a year down the line, you see them pop back up on your Instagram story. You're like, oh, I ain't seen her in a minute. Or I ain't seen him in a minute. Go to their page and all of a sudden the spouse gone. And so you like, so did they
what happened?
Still together? Or did they divorce? Like, what happened? So, I mean, you can be embarrassed no matter how the situation, turns out. So I feel like it's important. If it's important to you to keep your stuff private, like for me, I choose to keep things private. And I know people are like, well, dog, is she a lesbian?
It's a difference between being private and being secretive. You protecting your peace is what you're doing. I would say it's a difference between being private and being secretive. I'm not keeping you as a secret because if I'm dealing with you and we go out and somebody sees me, I'm not going to try and duck and hide. But I don't have to blast it all over social medias because if stuff does go left when you delete it, that's how we know the relationship over. All the pictures gone. Or, and then you answer questions that you would have never had to answer had you not put it out there before you knew it was permanent.
That's it. That part right there. And so that's kind of my idea on that. I just kind of keep things to myself, like a close friend will know, of course. But like, it's not something that I put on display for
the world.
Society to have an opinion
because it's not their business anyway.
They ain't gonna know what I'm
at all. I said, I'm just gonna.
It ain't a secret. It just ain't
at all.
Business.
I'm just gonna pop up on Facebook with an engagement video. I'm telling y'all now. They're like, oh, this bitch been single
at this point. It might be the wedding video.
Be like, so this bitch been on this podcast for 5 years talking about she's single, and she pop up with a whole brother. Sure did. Enjoy.
First off. And nobody said they were single. We give advice on helping you to understand, do you want to be single or not to be single? We're talking about what you go through. Nobody said that might be the present.
Right.
How people say they go on a trip and then post about it later.
Let's be clear.
The trip might have happened and this the
it's the context. We talking about experiences. That's it.
Yeah. I think Carrie hit that nail like on the head. I think to sum it up for me, what I learned is people don't know how to mind the business that pays them. So if I post it, best believe it's the business that's paying.
Yeah. Ooh, there it is. If I post it, it's the business that's paying. I love it. I love to see it. That is a word. I love it. Now, in regards to all that, I do want to be clear that I'm not saying, just because a person gives you butterflies, and I've been told butterflies really is anxiety. So y'all be careful, ladies. I'm not saying just because they give you butterflies that, he or she is your person. However, say if he or she does give you butterflies, or you feel like you love this person and this person is treating you the way that you desire, and it's all happening in a shorter than normal time frame, say 2 or 3 months, should you deny that feeling of wanting to get into a relationship or take it to the next level with that person? Tell us more.
I don't think you should because, like I just said, my parents been married 43 years. They met, dated, and got married all within the same year. And no, she wasn't pregnant because my sister didn't come until 3 years later. So I think, to a certain extent, when you know, especially at this age, because we've seen, or you would hope, that one has had enough experiences to gain, some wisdom and know when something ain't really gonna be nothing and when something truly feels different. And sometimes you can't really discern because people have personality disorders and they might be, narcissists or sometimes those are the most charming people in the world because they're crazy. And you can't really see that because if they came out the gate crazy.
Exactly. They wouldn't be able to do their job and kill you.
So,
lifetime movie in the
right. So,
I mean, I think that there has to definitely be a good spirit of discernment.
Because I was asking, how do you move with caution while doing this?
I think you have to go into it with intention to move with caution. Because if I go into it knowing what the intention of the relationship is, if the intention of you and I talking to me, even saying I'm interested, is for us to be in a relationship, then 2 to 3 months. I hear is it shorter than normal time frame, but that sounds kind of long nowadays. I'm like 2 to 3 months. 30 days in a month. That's about 90 days, Shayna. You know how many hours in a day?
I didn't even
I'm
look
just
at it
saying,
that
like,
way.
one
I
person.
just looked at it like, these days, in my past experience, stupidly, I would be like, well, I need 6 to 9 months to know if I really like you. I'm like, girls, get your stupid ass.
That's almost a
Get your
year.
stupid ass talking about. That's why you single. So
I mean,
it's the context and the
it
perspective, and that's why I'm revisiting this, because I think in my own mind I had made up these crazy timelines, and I think part of it was like almost like a defense mechanism. I had made up these timelines as a way to kind of stretch things out, thinking it would protect me, when essentially we all know a relationship is a roll of the dice anyway. So if it's gonna work or it's not gonna work, no matter whether I stretch it out 6 months or 6 years, if it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work, no matter how I try to manipulate it. So I think that's why it's so important what you all are saying, that if you feel that way, don't deny it, but be mindful. The perspective you just gave, that's a whole 90 days. You can feel a way about a person, but you have to be sure that you are intentional about that spirit of discernment and finally understanding what your intuition is, because I feel like I really just figured out that in 2020, like, that little feeling in your stomach when something ain't right, because every time I feel like it wasn't right. Like, listen to it, So I think you have to be aware of those things. So why would you all say sometimes, and myself included, in the past, I've moved in a way, where I made up these crazy timelines to quote unquote protect myself? Do you all think we sometimes do those things because there is shame or fear around our decision making when it comes to relationships?
I think yes. Oh, dang, you hitting them on the head. Yes. Well, and so just speaking for me, like in the work I've been doing, it comes from basically, when have you made decisions in the past and they've caused you to doubt yourself? Like, did I move in a way in which last time I trusted my heart and it completely shattered my world? So now I'm like, hold up, I can't trust my heart, or I can't trust
I can't trust myself.
and then I gotta work through that. Or is it a situation where, before I should have heeded warnings that I didn't heed, and now they may be warnings based off of people who love me and are like, hey, you doing the same thing again, but they don't pertain to this situation. But I'm taking note of the fact I didn't do something last time and I got a certain outcome, so now I want to do it differently. So it's almost like it's an experiment. It's like I'm doing certain things to get a certain outcome, and if I don't get the outcome I want, then I'm going to change up the method in which I move. And for some people, it's like, oh no, my method gonna work to get me the outcome I want. So it means that the person is getting factored in. If my method doesn't work, they're not the person, and they'll remove the person. And for some people, it's like, oh snap, after that doesn't work so many times, there's something wrong with me, not the method, but me. So I think it depends on that shame and fear, because the shame and fear is always directed towards myself, not necessarily what I'm doing. And sometimes we have to realize that, like, shame and fear are emotions, and yes, they do in so many ways keep us in check, but shame and fear also are not me. So just because I may have shame and fear, that doesn't mean that I am shameful or I am what needs to be feared. I need to take a look at what I am doing, the actions that I am doing, or the way I am pursuing, and change that. And in turn, I will still be changing me, but it takes that shame and guilt off of me, because that shame and fear, when you put it on you, will keep you from missing the man or the woman that's coming in and bringing to your life what you need, or what, at that moment may bring you joy. But you so stuck in that box that has been created by those emotions, you missing out on the good thing. And I think also that takes into play the type of relationships, because a lot of times a friendship will happen, or somebody that's truly just supposed to be an associate, that person that literally just checks on you from time to time, nothing physical or sexual. But we miss that because we want a certain thing or a certain outcome so bad. We placing that on everybody, not realizing that you need different relationships in your life. The person that you're looking for to be the one can't be the only one. Like, you have a team for a reason. And I don't mean that as a team as in like you're starting 5. But when you think about your friendships, your family, those people form a team, which is called your support team. And we all need a support system.
Stop right there. What we're going to do is we're going to break this conversation up into another part. So we'll be right back with part 2 of this conversation, relationships and timelines. And we're going to dive more into this shame and fear, because you have ignited something in my mind that I feel like we need to dive into a little bit deeper. So we'll be right back. As I promised, listeners, we are back and we are going to continue this conversation because I felt like we could go a little bit more in depth to give the listeners even more, I would say, education on this area and how they can move differently to help enhance and make their relationships better. So something, Chemyeeka, you said that really stood out to me was that we are not our shame and fear. We have to look at our actions. But if I get stuck on those emotions of shame and fear and other ones, of course, it can cause me to miss out on a good thing. So can we dive into that a little bit more? Like, why do you think we get so stuck in those things to the point where we start to think like, I'm ashamed of my decision making. I'm fearful of what's going to happen, even though we know relationship involves risk, to the point where we tend to kind of, I guess, push people away. Is that what we do? Do we push people away because of it?
Yeah. It's internalized. So it's almost like anything we do, it could be internalized because of reinforcement from those around us that what we did or who we are is bad.
Yeah.
It could also be internalized because the shame literally just comes from the fact we feel we have to hide. So we don't get the release we need by talking about it, or even just releasing it off of our chest and being able to say, this happened to me, or this is something that I went through.
Right.
And yeah, when it comes to, not even just therapy, like even if you're working through something yourself and trying to make sense of something in your head, sometimes it really comes down to defining it. Like defining what is it that you're attaching shame to?
Yeah.
Is it something that you truly should be shameful of? I mean, and honestly, I gotta admit, coming from the background I come from, when we start to talk about sin and other things, nothing you've done is bad enough that you can't get forgiveness for it, or you can't forgive yourself for it.
Right.
So let me add that piece in, because the forgiveness first has to be given to yourself.
Right.
So when you think about it like that, it's literally, it pulls in that piece of acceptance. Like you have to be able to accept you, all of you, including the fact that, yes, this has happened, but this is a new day. Like, how are you going to move forward from it?
Right.
So, and then once you decide that, then also going into breaking down the pieces of, is the shame, for instance, take a past relationship. Is the shame the past relationship? Or is the shame attached to certain experiences within that relationship? And if that's the case, if the shame is attached to what happened in that relationship, then you also have to acknowledge love is not something to be shameful for.
Yeah.
Being in a relationship is not something to be shameful for. Choosing a partner is not something to be shameful for.
But I think what happens in that context, though, I think when I think about my experiences, and I've experienced shame, I've experienced fear, I think I was shameful that I just felt like I chose the wrong person. I felt like I didn't do a good job with taking my time to get to know this person. I felt like I trusted this person when I shouldn't have. I felt like I allowed this person to hurt me, and almost not even giving that person credit that they played a role in it. It wasn't all me, and just take that kind of ownership, like it was all me. I was all wrong. And it was all bad. To beat ourselves up over it to the point where when the next person comes along, we tend to think, well, it's going to turn out the same way. And I don't want to be ashamed again. So either I'm not going to try at all, or I'm going to give a lackluster effort. Or sometimes I may go in so hard or so head first that I miss the red flags because I just want to be so optimistic and hopeful that it's going to work out. But I'm ignoring things that I really should be paying attention to. So that's how I'll go ahead.
I would say even in that, so if we just take that breakdown, Shayna, like it comes back to, one, acknowledging we all have those moments. Like, a lot of times when we make something all about us, we tend to deny the fact that it's something that could happen to anybody.
Right.
Like anybody can end up in a situation where they choose the wrong person. Anybody can end up in a situation where they, don't see the red flags, especially when you go in and you weren't looking for that.
Right.
So it goes back to that piece we talked about on the last podcast. You got to give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
And then also in giving yourself some grace, acknowledging what are you missing while you're sitting in the shame and you're saying, I did this. You're not allowing yourself to take the lesson and put that into the next relationship. Yeah. So essentially all you're doing is setting yourself up to do the same thing again.
Setting yourself up for failure.
And I think that there's another aspect to the shame that is particularly unfair to women because it turns into this well, what's wrong with her? Why can't she keep a man?
Yeah.
And they're
Yep.
not looking at the fact that it ain't that you can't keep a man, that maybe the men that you have been choosing, at some point you're walking away from those relationships. You could continue to be in that space, but you have grown enough to know that you're not going to put up with something just to have somebody,
Right.
so that you're not receiving that constant, shame from other people, be it men or women,
Right.
that are going through the whole, well, what's wrong with her? Why can't she keep a man? Like, she seemed like she got it together. She's attractive, got a good career, blah, blah, blah. But where's her man?
Yeah.
She ain't got no man. And so that becomes something that I think a lot of times we might even internalize, because it's like, well, I know that nothing's wrong with me, that I can't keep a man, or I know that I'm the one who's deciding I don't want to be kept by this particular man.
Right.
But even once you go beyond those boundaries, to both of you guys' points about what you were saying about, intuition and trying to make better decisions going forward. I know me personally, sometimes I've gotten into a spot where I'm trying to decide whether or not something is intuition or insecurity.
Okay.
I'm like, am I trying to make sure that I'm not reading too much into this because I don't want to be fooled like I was last time? Or is this really my intuition kicking in and being like, well, wait a minute, there might be more to this than meets the eye. And so, you might want to pump your brakes.
Right.
And being able to discern the difference between the two can be harder than we realize, depending on the situation, because everybody's not out to get you.
Right.
And it's great that we don't have that attitude, where we're just putting up walls and shutting everybody out because you don't want to experience the hurt that you've experienced before.
Right.
But then, like you just said, you can go into something with too much optimism and being like, okay, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to manifest the relationship I want. I'm going to make sure that I'm being intentional about this and this, that, and the third. And you could be making all of the necessary steps that you need to on your end, but a relationship is a partnership. And what you can't do is control that person's intentions, control what it is that they're going into this with. And as much as you might want to manifest and speak positivity onto it and speak it into existence and whatnot, man's a free moral agent.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't control what somebody else is doing regardless of what you think.
Right.
And that's not to, speak against, putting positivity out there to the universe and whatnot. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, they have to make those decisions for themselves. That's not a decision that you can make for them.
Absolutely.
No matter how you go about it. And so there's just this balance that comes into play when it comes to trying to deal with the shame that people have placed upon you. And both the shame that you have placed upon yourself because you're disappointed in the decisions that you've made, because you feel like you could have done better. And maybe you could have, maybe you knew. Because sometimes I'll knowingly be like, this ain't really going to be about something, but you know what?
I'm going to try it anyway.
I'm going to go and have these little drinks and we're going to have fun. We're going to see what happens.
Yeah. Give it a little
I deserve a break.
Like, I am not about to deal with this because if this goes bad, I'm not going to be able to handle that.
Yeah.
Like, he's somebody that I might be interested in to the point where this is going to hurt my feelings.
Yep. You give it a twirl until you can't no more.
Now, right, while I can, and I still have, my grace and my peace about myself.
Exactly.
Because what I'm not going to do is allow him to put me in a position where I'm reacting out of character.
Or you stealing my joy now. Because it goes back to what Chemyeeka said earlier. Some people just may not be your person. I think a lot of times when we get into these situations where we are in we may be in a single season, but we're also in a season where we want to be in a relationship or seriously date somebody. Not every person that you meet is going to be your person. Like you just said, Carrie, like it may be like, let me go on and get these drinks. I know he ain't the one. I know this ain't it. It's just something about him. I can tell, but he here for a good time, not a long time. So
Not a long
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it.
I'm bored.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep it moving.
And we could definitely like, man, I feel like this could be a whole nother episode just even because there's still so much more we could say about shame and
Oh, the
fear,
episode is
especially when
coming. Trust,
Carrie,
it's coming.
especially because Carrie threw in that piece about control. And we don't talk a lot about how we even talking about right now about a timeline. Is the timeline necessary or not? But think about it. The timeline, in a sense, is our way of controlling a relationship.
Oh yeah.
And when you
Mhm.
come into something saying you want to control it, you are setting yourself up for those pieces, like you said, with the risk taking, having the heartbreak, being disappointed. And then with those, if you don't know how to handle them, or if you haven't prepared yourself for the what happens if this doesn't go as I have
What
planned,
happens
that's how
next?
you end up. Yeah, that's how we end up right here with the shame, the fear, and all the other negative emotions that come along with that. Because we thought we planned it out perfectly and it was gonna work. But
Mhm.
you planned something, and as Carrie put it, you planned something, but didn't plan on the fact that he was coming in with his own agenda. She was
Right.
coming in with her own agenda.
Right. And that's why I think that's essential.
Mhm.
It goes back to the title of the episode, why we have to throw the timeline away and throw certain notions away and relinquish that control. Because I love that. We come in with a plan, but we act like this whole other human being don't have a plan either. And that plan could be good or
Right.
bad. They could be planning to come in and fuck some shit up. Or they could be planning, or they could be planning to come in and really see what's up and it could go somewhere. But we don't know. It's a roll of the dice. So
Yep.
either way, it's a
Yep.
risk that we have to take, and it's a risk we have to understand that we decided to take. So there should not be any shame or fear or anything negative attached to it. We just have to take it for what it is. But if we are recognizing that we are in that space where we're feeling shameful or feeling fearful, we need to really just tap into those emotions to uncover what it's really about and understand that it's not who we are, but just a part of the situation. So, yes,
Yes.
that's what it
Mhm.
is.
Yes.
So I think I want to lighten it up a little bit. I want to play with some timelines a bit. I want to see what you
All
all
right.
think and possibly give the listeners some advice or food for thought on if they should keep playing it safe with the traditional route or if they really should loosen up a bit. So these things are based on your personal opinion, and I don't know cannot be an answer. You have to answer. So
Okay.
let's go. The first one. Should you have sex on the first date? Does it really change anything?
Intentions. If you went into it knowing that this was a date for somebody that you wasn't really planning on making a long-term
Mm-hmm.
thing, then based on how you feel, because I think we just can't throw out the thing of like, oh, there are some people, some listeners who are like, hey, based on my background and my spiritual beliefs, that's just not what I'm
And
going
that's
to do.
fine. They can
Respect to
close your ears.
yes. Yep, respect to every respect to every decision you want to make. But if you're somebody that's like, I'm in this for a good time, not a long time, then hey, if sex on the first day, what you gonna do? Then make sure you wrap it up, make sure you use protection, make sure y'all know y'all status, and please, by all means, make it clear if y'all catching feelings or not. Because best believe if you sleep with somebody on the first date, what is gonna change is whether you caught feelings, and once you catch feelings, we all know that
But I think
that's a setup.
I agree with that. Give it a twirl if you want to. However, in 2020, I don't know if people still catching feelings like they used to. Like, I'm not really like a sex on the first date kind of girl,
Yeah.
I don't think. But I just put it this way. In my life, in my 30s, at some point, I have had sex with a person and thought nothing about them the next day. So, just to be clear, like, sex,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know if that's good or bad. I guess it wasn't memorable.
You had your intentions before you went in. Your intentions was,
Maybe
I know
I
what I'm
did.
here
It was
for.
I can't even remember exactly who this is with. That's sad. But I think you do have to be intentional about it. But so let me just say this, Carrie, before I give my final 2 cents on that. What do you think? Do you think having sex on the first date is still taboo, or does it not really matter?
I think it ultimately depends on the man
Yeah.
because there are, especially since we've had kind of the growing change where it's come with WAP and even that man at True Kitchen and how, he was talking about respectability politics and whatnot with the women twerking in the restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think that with social media and all of the Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and these women who are owning their sexuality and
Self-proclaimed
how
savages.
different, right, and how different men are responding to it, it lets you know that some men are very much so open to a woman doing her thing and being proud of who she is and living in her sexual truth and not being there to please a man, but going into sex for her own pleasure and knowing what it takes to get her off and wanting to do that for herself and not for some type of approval of him or to get him to quote unquote like her or whatever the case might have been in the past. Versus the men who are very much so still on this, oh, you bitches is hoes. This
that
is
bullshit.
some real slut activity.
We're not
The
shaming nobody out here.
Jezebel spirit is all up on you, and I can't wife nobody like that. And so I think that if you're talking to a man and you're enjoying his time and company and the chemistry's there, and that's something that you want to do, and you feel as if his behavior isn't going to change after that, like not whether you're going to catch feelings or not, but just whether or not he's going to continue to take you seriously or not. Then if that's the energy that you're getting based on his conversation, then go for it. You know, that's something that
I think the only
do.
caveat add this, I want to say, if you go for it, just understand too, I would just add, know that having sex on the first date is not going to make him want to be with you or like you more. So if you're doing it because you think that that's going to make it hook, line, and sinker,
that's what we're saying.
Like you think I'm going to fuck on the first date to make I'm going to become his woman, sis, don't do it. No, girls, don't do it, as they say on TikTok.
Because you more likely to fall super hard and him be like, oh, she just became
like that's what Carrie said.
Easy, or
you feel it.
The chase is done.
The chase is done.
I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of men are still pursuers. Like they still kind of want to have that chase. They want you to play hard to get to a certain extent. And so if you feel like doing that is going to mess up your chances of how he's going to perceive you, because whether we admit it or not, a lot of the actions that come on the back end of that behavior is based on the man, because there's been times where, you know, the man becomes clingy. He wants to see you more. He wants to be like, oh, where you at? What you doing?
You my girl, you know that.
Right. And before that, you know, he might have been kind of pacing it out more. And so the dynamics can change after sex, whether it's by the woman or by the man. So I think that you have to take that on a case-by-case basis versus having like a just blanket answer. But if I have to give a blanket answer, my blanket answer would be no, because you're not in a rush. If that's somebody that you're going to see again, then they can try that the next time that they see you. You know, see whether or not that energy is still there. Maybe you was just on the 1942 and
not the 1942.
Your girl was saying, go on, do it, girl. Come on, let's ride. Like, come on. And your brain is like,
I'm good.
I'm full of tequila now.
If alcohol is involved, you may not want to do it. But if you sober and you got the vibes and the energy and you feel like you trying to, I don't get down on the first night. If you feel like you do want to get down on the first night, it's up to you. Just know there's a lot of caveats that come with that, and it may not go how you want.
I want to ask something, Shayna. When we talk about this too, or especially when I was talking about it, like I said, I'm not gonna shame. I feel like we do enough of that in our communities, and we don't realize like this individual has to live with the consequences of their actions. Like, because what you decide isn't going to necessarily impact me, if that makes sense. And also knowing like it's a wide audience that listens to this podcast. So like, you know, we've always said it's about what feels good to you. But saying that also in looking at 2020, a lot of these first dates are happening via Zoom, FaceTime, etc. Like, are you really having?
Well, you know, outside kind of
like, is that even
outside kind of open back up right now? So people Zoom kind of dead. So outside, people outside right now.
Didn't know that.
You know, so outside right now. So we'll just say, you know, the consensus is a good idea, but I feel like if the vibes and energy are there and you feel like it's not going to change his energy to do it, go for it. But the only thing I would say, if alcohol is involved, you might want to wait. But know that it's not going to keep a man, you know. That's that. So next question.
Right.
How soon should people move in with a partner?
So I'm gonna go ahead and just get this off real based on past experiences. Shawty, beyond a ring, we married before we moved
Okay.
in together, and I'm
Okay.
done.
I'm with it. What you think, Karen?
I think I need at least a ring. Like, I need a level of commitment that goes beyond
Yeah.
you're my man. Because I already got my own house
You probably
and
got your own house.
I don't,
Yep.
right. And so it's just kind of like at that point, if we're going to be merging finances to the point where you're either coming into my
Mm-hmm.
place where, this mortgage is mine and ain't nobody name on it
Right.
but mine,
Right.
then we need to talk about assets and
Yeah.
liabilities. And I'm not really trying to do the whole son thing where I'm taking care of a
Yeah.
man. That ain't
Not
my
at all.
ministry. No,
Yeah.
no shade
No,
to
all
those
the
who do,
shade. Drop the
if
shade
that's
right
their
here.
thing.
Let the
That's
shade
fine.
down. Close the curtains.
If it ain't building the credit, we ain't doing
Not
it.
at
We ain't taking
all.
hits
It's
like
not
that.
essential. It's
Yeah.
not essential. So I agree. Yeah. If it's not when I say, a ring like engagement, I think that's how soon. Because otherwise, like, well, ladies beware because niggas are homeless out here. So they may try to move in because they need a place to stay. And I guess
Okay.
it's probably some homeless females out here too. But otherwise, like, why are we trying to move in before we know that we're going to be together forever? What's the purpose? Like, you could still,
Yep.
you bring your spend a night bag to my house. I bring mine to your house. We go home. We go our respective ways. We keep our space until I know that I want to look at you every day for the rest of my life. I don't need to be in a permanent residence with you. So,
And if we saying this to, like you said, help financially, then I need to know, well, if you that concerned about my finances and helping me financially,
you could
then
just pay my
what you saying
mortgage.
is we're gonna get married?
Like, if you really concerned,
Or
if
hey,
that's
if you
it,
got it like
if
that.
that's all you worried about, just write that check every month. Like, that's fine. Make sure this roof stays over my head.
And also just
Okay.
yeah. And also like a small, not a caveat, but just a small reminder, it's a lot of conversations around like, when are you not single? Just because he give you the ring or she say yes to your proposal doesn't mean that's still gonna be forever. Y'all can move in together and it still not
Absolutely.
work. So just throwing that
Again, it's
out
just
there.
still a roll of the dice. So we agree.
Mhm.
I think engagement. You give me the ring, then we talk about who moving, where, what we doing. Because I'm a fan also of not. I feel like if I have my home, he has his. We need to go get something together because it's not going to be where I move in your house, you get
Right.
mad, and you tell me get the fuck out of your house. What? Oh, okay.
Ooh,
So it's like we have to find a balance within that. All right. So the next
yeah,
question:
agreed.
when should you say I love you? Mm. I ain't
Mm,
loved a nigga since the 80s.
Man. Ooh.
Look,
I'm like, when is the last time I told somebody I loved them that wasn't a
okay. I'm
friend, like
really
a
over here
like
platonic
really
racking my
friend?
thinking.
Like,
So tell me, think
brain,
about
dang.
this. How
Oh
soon have you
no.
ever said it? Like, I think I'll go first. I think I was in a relationship like it was the 80s. So let me think back. Maybe, maybe like 6 months in, but in one situation where I was telling the person I loved them, I knew I didn't love them. I was just saying it because they said it to me, but I knew they was lying because they was a
Yeah.
dog ass nigga. So, it was like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna match this nigga's energy. Like, so we was both on some I was
right?
being
Yeah.
toxic too, but, I would say, I think the soonest I ever said it was like, maybe like 4 to 6 months. And I feel like a lot of times I just said it because like they said it. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I digress. So let's go back to y'all. So how soon would you say y'all have ever
Uh,
said, I love you?
I've never said it first,
That's some
just
player shit.
on some. I I just never, even if I might have thought it, which I'm somebody who, to be honest, like it's takes a lot for me to like even really like you, let alone love you. Like I have a high tolerance for being
Yeah.
tolerable of people. And
Mm-hmm.
so I can just kind of be, liking someone enough, but for me to be like, "Ooh, I love you," like that's rare. So I've never
Okay.
said it first,
I've never
but
said it first either.
there's been times actually where it's been said to me and I
Me
haven't
too.
said
I
it
can relate,
back.
sis.
Like,
Same, sis.
I
I've
might
told
be
somebody
like,
I
Same,
really
sis.
like you.
yeah, I'm like,
No, they say I love you, and you just like,
let's not talk
good
like
night. I'm
that
about to go to sleep.
yet, or let's really kind of, reevaluate if that's really how we feel. Or I
Reevaluate.
Because
appreciate that.
my thing is,
I'm a
Yeah.
I
thank
thank you.
you.
And I feel you. I've never said it first. I've had people say it to me. I didn't say it back. But tell me this, whenever y'all have said I love you, did you really mean it though?
So at the time when I think about it, it was
Don't
early
give dates because
2000s.
people start
Hey,
connecting dates and names and situations,
true.
all that
Great
evidence.
point. Great point. Well, actually, with my history, it ain't. I'm saying like literally, it hasn't been since high school that like I've been in a situation where I like told
I
somebody,
don't even know if that shit
in
count
a
in high school.
relationship, like exactly. So I'm like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to, like, I don't think this even apply to me because in my adult life, I ain't had a situation happen yet where I've been involved with somebody and, the I love you came up. It was, I mean, we still on the, like, this conversation moving out the DMs to the inbox or, like now that you in my phone and we talking on the regular, do I even really like
What Carrie just said, she
you?
has a high
So yeah,
tolerance for
Right.
liking. Well, it takes a lot to like, but a high tolerance for tolerating people. So it sounds like y'all just
hmm
motherfuckers. Like y'all.
Yeah,
Hey
I
man,
mean,
she
there
told.
has
Oh,
been like a few people that I actually love, but that's far and few in between. But I think the last time I said I love you too to somebody and I actually
It was
meant
to my
it,
mama.
that was like, it was like at least, I want to say we were like a good 8 months
That's not
in.
bad.
gotcha.
And the thought had crossed my mind before. Like, I was like, wait a minute, do I love him? Like, ugh. Like, I was
She
kind
said,
of
"Ugh."
annoyed by the thought of it. And, so I was just kind of like, let me push that out. But then once he said it, then, I confirmed it and I did feel that way. Um, but afterwards, I had to question whether or not I actually ever really loved him. And so there's
Because
a
where is he now?
few people where I can say, yes, I really love that person. And I know that I love that person because I still
Mm-hmm.
have love for that person.
Yeah.
And so even though I don't want to be
Yeah.
with them, I don't want any harm to come to them. I still want them to succeed in life and do well.
For me, I can say that I think I'm with you, Carrie. It's that situation of it ain't that I haven't been in relationships, but it's like I've said multiple times, like friendships are important to me, and then maybe we can move from there. So my friend zone really ain't like a friend zone; it's like a potential zone, unless like I tell you, like we family, then you friend zoned it for
When I
life.
start calling you
But
bro,
in the sense
it's over
that
with.
you know, it's over, it's over. So I mean, if I get to that point where I love you, then obviously things have occurred that made me feel that you care for me. Because that's how I know I love you is like when I'm like, dang, he really made me feel loved. He checking on me. Dang, he sending me stuff because he know that's what I like. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think
Mhm.
because of the roles I sit in and I'm constantly talking people through things they've been through or constantly having to reevaluate or re-go through my own history and like how I've been hurt and how that shows up, it really checks me on that moment of saying you love somebody. Because for me, what does love come with? Like, is it unconditional love? Is it conditional love? But when I say I love you, what is that? What am I telling you? Because when I say I love you, that means I'm giving a piece of me to you. Are we at the place where you can handle that side of me? Because I'm not just saying I love you. That's a
Yeah,
commitment in itself.
absolutely.
But I'm gonna
Absolutely.
stop there.
So I'm just going to end with
Yeah.
love don't live here anymore. That love, that L word, it can go a lot of different ways. So I think y'all have handled it well.
Yep.
So I'm gonna ask this one: and we dabbled in this a little bit earlier that meeting the parents for me doesn't hold the same value that it may have held in the past for other people because I need to really like you myself. And when I bring you around my mom or my family, if they don't like you, it would be odd because my family is very open and loving. But really, I don't know if they was like,
Mm-hmm.
Shane, I don't like him, if I really would care. So I'm like, I like him. Shit. So, when should we be introducing our partner to, of course, thinking that you're in a relationship, when should you be introducing your partner to your friends and family? Like, how soon should that happen?
I feel like friends happen first.
Yeah,
For
definitely.
Yeah.
me, typically, just based on
Yeah, the friends are
location,
here. The family's
honestly,
not.
because they're around, and then
Yep.
right,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's more of like a
Yeah. You bring them
casual
around, we're
thing,
out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
and
come to
so
dinner, we're having
whereas
drinks, pull up, that kind of deal.
right,
Yep.
right. Whereas with my family, I've only actually brought maybe
Mm-hmm.
3 men home. So they don't meet a
Yeah.
lot of people that I deal with. So,
Yeah.
like, if I bring you home to my mom and dad, it's because
Yeah.
I'm serious about you and I really want, their opinion. And so that's a big deal for me. Whereas, my sister, she brings everybody that she dates around. And so, I mean, they kind of like, hey, but they're like, well, he
You
might be
might
here
not.
He might
next
not.
Don't
month. He
really
might
matter.
not, whatever. But if I bring somebody home, they're expecting that this is serious because they know that that's
Right,
something that's
right.
serious to me.
Yeah.
So meeting my friends, not a big deal. Meeting my family,
Awesome.
absolutely a big
So
deal.
how
Yeah.
soon would you say, I
I
would
hold
say,
those
what's the
people.
soonest you think you would bring somebody home? Or is it just depending on how the relationship is going?
It depends on how the relationship is going. But for me, the soonest that it's happened was within, like, I want to say 7 months. Yeah, we were like 7 months in, and I finally um, went to dinner with he and my
Okay.
parents so that they could meet
I
him.
like that. What would you say,
So,
Chemyeeka? Would you
yeah.
think, is it kind of the same thing?
I think similarly, yeah, meeting the fam holds weight. Like they are precious to me. I value them, and I'm at the point where I ain't
Yeah.
wasting their time or mine. So because
Mhm.
that them getting to know you or me taking you home is still vested time that they are taking to evaluate who you are as a person because they know
Right.
I see myself with you. So
Correct.
yeah, we ain't wasting nobody's time. And then also the fact of I don't want you to get too comfortable because when I take you to meet the parents, then I mean essentially that is giving you the cue that like, hey, I
Yeah.
done made it to the next level, and I don't want you to start switching things up. I mean, if you that type of person, so I want to make sure that in a way we vet it. So yeah, I'm with Gary. Like I say, we got to be a couple months deep, and when I say a couple months, I mean like on the minute spectrum. Selma 8,
Yeah.
maybe closer to a year. Unless it's one of those the timeline is out the window. You know what I'm saying? We've been talking and vibing, and we could have been talking this whole time when we finally started dating. And it's like, dang, like this dating phase may or may not last long before we take it to a whole nother level. Because when we were talking, we were vibing so well. We just both may have been hesitant about making it an actual relationship. So I say
Yeah.
that's the only
And I'm
caveat.
sure.
I have a question just to throw in there real quick. But like as I'm sitting here thinking about it and listening to what y'all are saying, I'm realizing that there's been occasions where I've gone home with people though and met their family. They just haven't met mine. And so, I kind of feel like that timeline for women, well, some women, obviously nobody's all the same, but do y'all feel like men are quicker to like bring you home to their mama or around their family and friends before women
But I
do?
don't trust
Because I
these niggas and their
almost
mamas
feel
no more though.
like
Because,
they are.
I done met,
Right. And that's
Ooh,
my
just
point.
choking,
I
Lord.
they
feel
be
like
in
their
on it.
moms be in
Ooh.
on the BS. Like she be knowing, okay, he just brought such and such home. He done
Yeah.
brought his baby mama home too. Like I know they still dealing with each other. Now he bringing
Yeah.
this girl home. Hey baby, and they sweet to everybody. And so I feel like
Look,
for them it holds less weight
Yeah.
than it used to. Like it used to be a thing if a man was like, "Ooh,
Shoot.
I want to bring you home to
These
my
mama
mama."
scam
But
artists
now I
just like
feel
they
like
sons.
I done went to meet a whole lot of
They
mamas,
dusty ass sons.
and I wonder how they feel because they
Yeah.
didn't get to meet mine.
yeah.
It don't hold the
Because
same
I
way.
was
These
kind of
mama
like,
scam just like they dusty sons. And
exactly.
they,
Well, I would say even as a family member, like, if I like her, I
Girl,
might try
I
to
don't
warn
care
her, like,
nothing about who
you
my
ain't the only
family
one.
bring home. My mom, my
Or
sisters, brothers, whoever can bring whoever home.
or
I
it'd
don't
be
give a
like
damn
that.
about these people.
And you just be like, they be like, why your sister don't like me? Or, why your cousin don't be trying to holler, like, don't chill with me like everybody else. And it just be like, bro, like,
Girl, and
it's
that's
certain
the
family
thing
members you just know,
too.
like, they not,
Because you tend
I'm
to
not
No,
fit
it's
to
not
marry.
fake
even
the
for
fuck.
me.
Like, why am I fit
It's
to
not
be
even
all up in
about
your
that.
face
Like
knowing,
my family could literally bring anybody home. I do not give a fuck who you are dating. Like if they come in and talk to me, speak to me, I'm gonna speak, be nice, cordial, but I'm really not finna try to get to know you. I'm not finna ask no questions. I don't care what you do with my siblings or good luck. Like Hunger Games, good luck. Whatever it works out. Because
good
I
luck.
don't have the
Yeah, we
I
ain't
don't have the
volunteering this
bandwidth to
tribute,
try to
though.
really be asking you questions and get to know you to really care if this is gonna work out,
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I feel the way about taking.
Especially knowing they grown people, they gonna do what they want to do. So at the end of the day, like, what am I really? I can give my opinion, but it's understood. Like,
But I'm
especially
the
with my
thing too.
siblings, their
Also, I probably
personality
feel
is
that way.
way
I am
stronger
the
than mine.
youngest of my siblings, so that's probably why I don't care. My siblings are much older, and like y'all need to be making y'all own sound relationship decisions by now. Like y'all should not be bringing no niggas home talking about what y'all think. Like you grown as hell. Like so that's why I'm kind of jaded about it because
Ain't
most of my siblings are like pretty much 40 and above. If y'all ain't got it right, I damn sure can't help you get it right. So I like Omarion, I feel no ways about whoever you bring it home. Put it that way. So I want the last thing I'm gonna play, this little a taboo question. I just want to ask this. Do people even still care about the Constitute? Do people still care about the Institute of Marriage anymore? I am a woman that I desire to be married at least once. And I want it to be my only marriage, that doesn't end in divorce. So I still care about it. But does society, people still really care about it? Because, now you hear people say a lot of things about, it's just a piece of paper. I can have a partnership. I can have a union. I don't need that. So y'all tell me, do people still care about marriage anymore?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they do. And the reason why I think they do is because there's still a certain amount of status associated with it.
Unfortunately, you're right.
Whether it's like whether it's like an approval from other people, not necessarily even staying in it, because a lot of people get married and get divorced. But I think that there's still a certain amount of status that's associated with it, whether that be, financially with
Incomes.
merging to incomes, households, whatever, or
Some people
whether
just
it's
like
just,
saying, I was chosen.
I've
I say
been
when a pick me
chosen.
gets picked, or I'm a
Yes, I'm
wife.
Mrs. Blah, blah, blah. And and it's so funny because you can almost tell sometimes, even going back to social media, where these people who haven't really made it that big of a deal, they've still kept their name, whatever it was. They might add in to their bio or something, wife of or whoever. But more often than not, for the women who it's really a big deal to them, suddenly they're Mrs.
Yeah. Oh
such and
God.
such
Oh my
in their
girl.
bio.
I
And
saw
that's
on, I
their
think it's Marcus
name.
Houston from Immature.
And
His wife literally had like soon to be Mrs. Marcus Houston or something. And I was like, if that is not when the pick me gets picked, I will never. I
Hold up.
She
But
was
think
young as
about her
hell, and
age,
I
though,
realized that
too.
after the fact. When it happened, I didn't know how old she was.
yeah.
But let's be clear, you
Yeah.
still have people now that do the same thing. Like, I kind of get it in the entertainment world that you may have in your bio, like, wife of so and so, to some extent, because that's how y'all live, y'all public figures. But for the regular smuggler, Degler, I am not about to have wife of my husband name in there. Like, no, I mean, being,
And
now
it
go
was
ahead and
funny
say
to me
being a wife
because
will become a part of my identity, not in
go
a
ahead.
negative way, but I don't need to identify it in that way. Like, I know my last name has changed. I own that. I love that. But
Right.
I just think that's going too far.
Right. Because like I was looking at something on Instagram one day and I came across LL Cool J's wife's page, and you
She
wouldn't
been
have known
married
that
so
she was
long,
LL
girl.
Cool
She
J's
probably don't even
wife.
remember that
Like
nigga
it was
LL Cool J.
nowhere
She
mentioned
probably,
anywhere on there. Right. And my thing is like, that's somebody, like, if you gonna be, extra proud to be Mrs. Anybody, that's definitely
Definitely.
somebody that you want to be
Right,
proud to be
right.
Mrs. of. You know
Or
what I'm
Mrs.
saying?
Washington, because
But they
Denzel
they
wife.
so
Right.
they
Whew,
are
come
they
on, Father.
have been
Right.
married in
And
those relationships so long that they are far, like they are much more
not
than
Hmm.
so and so's wife.
right.
Yeah,
Right. And they haven't made that
Mm-hmm.
just their identity,
yeah,
And so I think that it kind of comes down to the individual person.
yeah,
But some
Yeah.
people, they make that their identity. Like they're only
yeah.
a wife and a mother or whatever. And they completely lose themselves. And then unfortunately, if those relationships dissolve, those are
Oh
the
yeah.
people that we see having the
Yeah.
hardest time adjusting
We're so
because
wrapped up in it.
they've
They have
completely
become only a
dedicated them
wife.
Yeah,
right themselves to only being that person,
yeah.
right, and not keeping any type of identity of themselves. So while I do desire to become a wife and a mother, I also want to make sure that when I do make that happen, that I keep who I am and who I'm being true to myself and keeping my own identity and not just becoming
Exactly. I
the
couldn't
badge
agree
of
more.
somebody
Yeah.
else.
And the short version for me is similar. I do desire to be married. Part of that being I do want it's in my upbringing. I want that foundation. Like I want that foundation for my children. And I also want marriage in a sense brings a sense of stability, or from the way I've been taught. So it's not that I see it as a piece of paper. It's I see it as what the strength of a two income household, two people, helping to raise children, what it looks like to have someone be your support system. And also just that means of going home to somebody and like having a not a safety net, but a place of safety, like a sense of home in a person. And knowing that at the end of the day, no matter what the world has going on, I have somewhere to go
Yeah,
where
where
this
I
is
feel
my fortress,
safe.
so to
That
speak.
is most important. I want to feel safe with you and protected.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, love those answers. The
Right.
ultimate. I
The
agree. So, on
ultimate
that
commitment.
note, we will be right back with the Living Single segment.
This now brings us to the Living Single segment of the podcast. It's simply a segment where we want to send you good vibes, good energy, and give good advice on any questions that you may have about being single, dating, or relationships. Remember, nothing is off limits. So, welcome to the Living Single segment of the show, and let's get into it.
Question for today's Living Single segment was sent in on Instagram. Question. I have been in a relationship with my man for 4 years. We moved in together this year, about 3 months ago. My man makes double the money that I make, but he wants to split the bills 50-50 like we are roommates. WTF? Question mark. I am not okay with this, but he won't hear me out on it and refuses to budge. I want to move out, but I don't want to lose my man. What should I do? So, Carrie, we're going to start.
Child. Mm-mm. If it's one thing that I cannot stand, it is what I see as a cheap man.
A stingy
And
spirit. I hate it.
you making double what she makes, and yet you don't recognize. Well, first of all, you don't have the spirit of protector and provider on you.
Not at all. Not at all.
Because
Ooh,
if you
okay.
had that, then this wouldn't even be a discussion.
Yeah.
So you wanting her to contribute to the bills, not like, well, here, baby, how about you do cable? Or how
Yeah.
about you do water or something like
Yeah.
that, just to make sure that she has, a foot in the game, if you will. But the fact that you want her to go half on everything, I'm
Yeah.
questioning what kind of man you are, because the kind of man that I would want
Mm.
needs to have that spirit of provider and protector on him.
Right. Right.
And so I would say leave, because if you're unhappy now, it's
You're
only
going to be
going to
unhappy
get
later.
worse. Like
Yeah.
once somebody feels like they have you, and that ink has dried on the paper, more than likely the things that you didn't like before, they just take it up a notch,
Yeah,
because
that's it.
now
Yeah.
they don't even have to try to pretend like they're not gonna do that, because they don't want to lose you.
Yeah.
So if you need to walk away and show him what it looks like to have you not present at all,
Mm,
then do that.
do that.
But if you're so scared to lose this man, then I mean, I think it's some time for some reflection and self evaluation on what is it that you're scared of, because you
That
can
part.
pay all your stuff on your own if
Yeah.
that's what y'all have been doing. And apparently, for the last 4 years, that's what y'all have been
It's been
doing.
working.
And so, if he wants to continue to have a separate, dwelling space, but y'all continue to be in a relationship, then you need to really ask what the future looks like for y'all.
Yeah.
Because if those are his expectations, I think that that's something that might have needed to be discussed before you moved in together. And if you're in
Definitely.
hopes of moving in together because that's going to lead to an engagement in a marriage, then these are things that need to be discussed before you commit to that level of marriage, and
Yeah.
before you guys have children or whatever else might come into play, because you obviously have two different viewpoints on how a household should be run.
Absolutely. And it sounds like you absolutely did not do the proper discussion before you made this decision. So, Mika,
Right.
what would you say?
Man, what can I say that Carrie ain't already said? I
Okay.
mean, like breaking it, I guess to do the summary, y'all should have a discussion. Before anybody else that's finding themselves in a situation, discussion should be had before you move in. If y'all aren't married and y'all are living together, then he's showing you who he is, and
Mhm.
the discussion should then happen. Would this change if we got married? Because clearly he's not budging, like you said, on what's happening now. So then you can see, is there a possibility for it to change in the future? Since clearly that is what you're sticking, like, you're still there for. If not, it goes back to another resolution we have done. If they showing you who they are, or they ignoring you when you're trying to bring up something that is important to you, then just go ahead and get out, because that's somebody that clearly is showing you it's not important unless it's important to them.
Yeah.
And if he
Mhm.
making this kind of money, that's not it. Wanting to talk about paying bills is not important to him, because he know he got his covered.
Right.
Absolutely. So I think the answer we're giving her, sis, you need to, does it sound like,
Drop, drop,
yeah,
drop. Hey.
yeah. Instead of tap, tap, tapping, you need to tap out, sis. So if he's not willing to budge and have these conversations and you're not comfortable living like that, which I would not be in that situation, move on. And next time, just do a little bit better before you make that leap. So,
I do want to add
mhm.
to, it's one of those situations where there's no he has to or he needs to. Like you said, it's all based off what he's showing you about his character,
Oh,
because
yeah,
it's his
definitely a
money at the end
character
of the day.
issue.
So, yeah, I mean, he legally
Mhm.
isn't required to share it with you.
He's
So he's
not.
showing you how willingly or how much he thinks of you as to what he's freely willing to give you.
And what T.D.
Right.
Jakes said, T.D. Jakes, the pastor bishop, said it best. I hate a stingy spirit, because if you got a stingy spirit now, you're going to have a stingy spirit later. So leave these
Oh
stingy,
yeah, the more
stingy
you
spirit.
get, the tighter you gonna
Yeah,
hold.
yeah. Leave these stingy spirited Negroes alone. And that said, if you are interested in writing into the To Be Single or Not to Be Living Single segment, please feel free to do so on Instagram or Facebook at our pages To Be Single or Not to Be, or you can visit our website and inbox us there. So on that note, we'll be right back with the resolution. All right, so guys, we're about to go right into the resolution and we're done.
Wow.
All right. So when it comes to this segment of the podcast, this is the resolution. And this is where we give our final thoughts in regards to how we feel on the subject matter. And so we're just going to have a quick roundtable discussion to decide, do we want to, or do we think people should stick with the traditional route of dating? Or should we just start to go with the flow while still not being dumb about it? So, Mika, I'm going to start with you. What do you think? What are your final thoughts on it?
I think ultimately it is up to you and your heart, what you can live with, what you cannot. And also remembering that anything that occurs, as far as any emotions that you may take on, that shame, guilt, and fear, they are emotions, but they are not you. So make sure you handle those before you get into a new relationship. And also in understanding that society is forever changing, like the world is forever changing. So there's never going to be a right way or a one way in the world's eyes to go about a relationship. So essentially you got to take into account who you are as a person, what you desire in a relationship, and move forward from there.
You say, Carrie?
I completely agree. I think that she hit the nail on the head. And I would just add to that I do think that while you should kind of keep in mind some of the traditional thoughts when it comes to, dating and then deciding that you're going to be in a committed relationship and really getting to know somebody, at the same time, you should throw the timeline away because there's no specific time that you can put on getting to know somebody. There's people who have known people for years and even married them and then, found out they were living a double life, or, Lacey Peterson, they done got killed by their husband or something crazy happens and you come to find out that you don't know them at all.
Yeah.
There's a whole Snapped and ID channel that's dedicated to these types of situations because that's how often they happen.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, even if you try your best to put a timeline on something for your own protection, there's no guarantees. So while you should keep in mind that you should get to know people better and not just, throw caution to the wind and jump head first into every situation that presents itself to you, ultimately the whole timeline of, okay, we got to talk for 3 weeks, then first date got to be 6 months and 90 days before I sleep with somebody, and this, that, and the third, and whatever books and Steve Harvey might have said. You can't just go into things with a blanket timeline because one size fits all is not realistic.
Not at all.
For life.
Not in 2020. And, I watched the show 90 Day Fiance, so y'all know I'm with the shit, I'm with the, 90 days, get married. I'm with the married at first sight kind of stuff. So I think I agree with what both of you ladies said. I think that it's all about how you feel, what your heart is telling you, and just using your common sense, being intentional, but also trusting your intuition to know that there are a lot of things that come with dating and relationships, and you just have to figure out the best way to navigate it. But yeah, throw the timeline out of the window in regards to, I'm not going to allow myself to tell this man I love him because it's been 3 months instead of 6. If you love him, tell him, so, it's certain things like that. So you just have to look at each situation, each area of the relationship and each segment of it and how you feel, and assess it as the feelings and the situations come along, and don't focus on what this utopian society ideal we have in our mind has told us life should look like. So on that note, we want to say thank you to our guests. Give us yourselves a round of applause. You all did an excellent job. I have loved having this conversation today. I know it's going to be a continued conversation, but know that your opinions are always valued and appreciated. We thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And on that note, we'll be right back with the Montana Minute. And now this brings us to the Montana Minute. The first thing, we know that relationship timelines are not for everybody. So if you are everybody and relationship timelines are not for you, give yourself permission to throw the whole thing away immediately. The next thing, recognize that following a timeline is not a guarantee for relationship success either. It's a roll of the dice either way. And the last thing, know that there is no surefire way to secure the bag, meaning the man or the woman. But we do know that if a relationship is your goal, figure out the best way to navigate what that road looks like to get there on your own terms and no one else's. So be sure to share this episode with a friend that you think could benefit from it. And now I leave you to decide, to be single or not to be. That is the final question. Signing off, yours truly, Shanna Montana.